gathered together both in person and all around the world to celebrate the country preacher, the one and only Reverend Jesse Louis Jackson, the deal maker for the disenfranchised, the power broker for the people, the shadow senator. He would say, show your love for the Reverend Jesse Louis Jackson. Come on, this is how he would start. I am somebody. I am somebody. Respect me. Protect me. Never neglect me. Keep hope alive. Keep hope alive. Reverend Jackson would say, let me hear you scream. Musical selection by Bishop.
His fight that he has left to us. We thank you that there was no fight.
A story and a prayer. Every one of us, the desperate, the damned, the lives into a story of redemption.
More praise. It's to my God. That's how the service lasts. But we intend to get out today. Amen. President Joe Biden said to me, I love being in the black church. Mr. President, we love it too. Listen, if they are holding people outside and won't let them in, please let them inside. There is enough room still in the building not to hold anybody outside. Our next three speakers are coming. Rabbi Stephen Jacobs, Rabbi, and I had the opportunity to go to Kosovo with Reverend Jackson to bring home 3 hostages. And he is here, he's going to speak. Rabbi Jacobs, and after Rabbi Jacobs, Pastor Steve Muncie, who has done so much to help us and to help this family. And then after Pastor Steve Muncie, everybody's TV judge, Judge Greg Mathis.
Honored leaders of our country, Governor Pritzker, my governor from California, Governor Newsom, my fellow clergy.
Could I have somebody? There's a Jackie. After I have met the Jacksons after many years, I thought Jesse made Jackie. I'll leave that to the rest of your imagination. They told me a story. I promise I won't tell the good part.
I am somebody. I am somebody. Mother Jackson, my God siblings, my dearest friend, Jonathan, grandkids. You know, those were the 3 words that I heard 50 years ago this month. Wow. That changed my life forever. Many of you know I was a jailed youth, troubled youth, jailed in the city of Detroit. Met Reverend Jackson there on one of his tours to uplift black youth. Fought my way back to meet him. I was so compelled by what he said. And I said, Mr. Jackson, I want to help you fight white people. I didn't know how to say it. I meant social justice. My brothers were Black Panthers back in the housing project, so I had a little consciousness and I knew I wanted to fight. He said, well, what are you here for? I said, for carrying a gun. He said, well, you gotta drop your gun and pick up your books. Then you can help me. He said, I'll tell you what, you leave here, go to college, then you can come back and work with me. My singular reason for going to college. Sure enough, when he got back, when I came out, he was organizing in Detroit, 83 campaign. When Jonathan came to town, made me carry his suitcase. Jesse Jr. had me put him on my back. They really abused me, y'all, as kids. Now I make Jonathan carry my briefcase. But no, indeed, I was mentored by Reverend from that day on. He assigned me to Mother Jackie's best friend in Detroit who ran our push operation and that rainwater. She then mentored me. I ran the operation in Detroit, and then when we ran for president in '88, I was part of the management of the state, the largest victory we had. And so our relationship came full circle. And then some years later, in '97, in fact, I left after being elected, youngest judge in Detroit, 15 years out of jail. I left that after a few years to serve as his vice president of Rainbow Push. Well, then came television calling. And I was a little scared to tell him I had the offer because I'm loyal to you. You're the reason I'm here. So I got the nerve up. I went and I showed him and I said, Reverend, these white folks want to give us some money for our store. What you going to do? You look at the contract and you tell me what to do. He looked at it, he said, oh yeah, you got to take this. And he said, but primarily I want you to take this so that you can spread our message of hope to millions and millions of people who you will inspire to overcome their obstacles as we've overcome ours. And so for the last 27 years, indeed, thank you all, the longest running black host in the history of America. Thank you, Reverend Jackson. We've been able to spread that message to millions of people for 27 years, all because God bless the Reverend Jackson. Lastly, people often ask, what was the best wisdom? Because he's the wisest man any of us have ever met, no doubt. What piece of wisdom? I said, well, it was about, really, when I met him. I was giving him the poor man's story. Reverend Jackson, my mama died when I was a teenager. I don't have a daddy, and I'm living in the projects with my brothers, and they doing all this. He said, well, I don't have a daddy either. He said, I had 3 daddies. I had 3 last names. He said, why are you feeling sorry for yourself? Jesus could have been a hopeless street youth.
Yes!
But he fought back. And the way he continued to talk about it, some way I seemed that he was reflecting on his own life. So I began later to put it together. And I said, yes, indeed. Jesse Jackson could have been a street youth. Born under the same circumstances. Born in substandard housing in Greenfield. 3 last names, wasn't sure who his father really was. Folks gossiped. Joseph can't have no baby. Who that baby daddy? Didn't have the right to vote in Greenfield under King Herod. The government was on his back. Ted the Hoover.
Come on now.
He didn't run to the corner and complain. Oh, my mama was a teenage mama. I don't have the right to vote. The government is on my back. Give me a swig of that wine. He didn't do that. He said, I am the son of Helen Burns, and I have come and sent by God to change my condition and the condition of this world. And I bet you he would say to us today that we are all sons and daughters of God. And if we continue to fight, we continue to pray, we continue to march, we will continue to change our condition and the condition of this world. Keep hope alive.
All of these speakers. The work of Reverend Jackson is alive. The Rainbow Push Coalition is alive and strong. Can we show some extra love as we welcome the son of Reverend Jesse Lewis Jackson? Please welcome the CEO of the Rainbow Push Coalition, Mr. Yusef Jackson.
We gather here today to pay tribute, to give thanks, and to celebrate the life of a man who occupied many spaces in our lives, in this nation, and in the world. For many of us, our beloved leader. For others, our brother. For so many, our friend. A grandfather to my 5 children. A husband of 64 years. To my mother. And to meet my father, Reverend Jesse L. Jackson, Sr. That was part of his beauty. My mother would often say, wow, your father has such remarkable range that in one moment he can be way up here, and the next moment he comes right down to eye level. His body of work spans more than 6 decades, so vast that no single homegoing service can fully capture it, but it's both an honor and a heavy responsibility to try. As I grieve and wrestle with my faith in the loss, in the wake of this loss, the scripture that says, weeping may endure for a night.
Come on.
But joy comes in the morning,
Yes.
sits heavily in my belly. I find myself balancing the sorrow of the dark night, comforting my kids and answering their questions about the loss of life, the cycle of life, managing my own personal grief against God's promise.
Yes.
The joy comes in the morning. And what a morning God gave my father. 84 years. He would often say, Yusef, that Martin died at age 39. He was taken from us far too soon. He said Malcolm died at 39. He never thought he would live this long. A life so full of work and witness, a life and legacy we honor publicly and proudly. His record standing firmly on the side of justice. It will stand the test of time. The Reverend always taught me that we should measure someone not simply by where they ended up, but where they started from. He was born out of wedlock, deep in the valley of the Jim Crow South under the heavy boot of Southern apartheid. As a boy teased for having 3 last names, and he struggled with a stutter. Yet he rose from those beginnings to become extraordinary, to become a blessing to the world. He always knew what set him on the right path. A loving mother, a family, a welcoming church, a close-knit community that helped guide a young boy of immense energy, intelligence, and ambition. My father was what Dr. King called maladjusted to injustice. He simply never accepted it. He went to jail at 17 years old in Greenville, South Carolina, protesting for the right to use a public library. And even near the end of his life, he never spoke to me about his existential struggle with life, his inability to express himself clearly, the loss of his gifts, his inability to walk and move. Instead, he urged me to organize churches and pastors to help feed millions of people who are affected by food insecurity as a result of the loss of SNAP benefits. He carried a well-read Bible, not as a symbol, but as a guide. He lived a revolutionary Christian faith rooted in justice, nonviolence, and the moral righteousness of standing with the least of these. He practiced that faith, sometimes on his knees, but more often on his feet, on picket lines in jails, at makeshift hospitals and parks in New York City, comforting AIDS patients, and in communities across the country. He often said, "I intend to die with my shoes on." And he taught us that if you're faithful over a few things,
Yes.
God will make you ruler over
Many.
And he taught us some faith the size of a mustard seed. You can move mountains, win peace, free hostages, give hope to the masses. So we remember him not for what he accumulated, but for what he gave. He used his gifts to give voice to the voiceless, free prisoners, and build the Rainbow Coalition, bringing together the rejected stones of society, instilling hope in them and reminding them that as God's children, they are somebody special. He was deeply involved in the political struggles of his time, but his gift was that he could rise above them. It's not about the left wing or the right wing. It takes two wings to fly. For him, the goal was always the moral center. His campaigns called America to move from racial battlegrounds to economic common ground and on to moral high ground. And that vision allowed him to transcend the limitations of his circumstances. He endured insults and dismissals, rejection, yet he kept appealing to our better angels and urged us to keep on keeping on. Even as his body began to fail, his spirit and imagination never did. He talked about organizing a peace mission to Ukraine. He wanted to appeal directly to Putin. He wanted to organize ministers to help negotiate peace in Haiti. The Reverend's mind and will was strong even as his body failed him. He was very clear about the challenges we face today. He believed the progress made through what historians call the Second Reconstruction, the era that grew out of the Civil Rights Movement and expanded democracy for millions, was now facing renewed resistance from the highest levels of our government. The foolish denial of threats to democracy and to decency, corrosive inequality, catastrophic climate change, endless wars, a renewed arms race, global pandemics, and more. And he reminded us that in each of these crises, it is always the least of these who suffer first and suffer the most. And that conviction shaped his ministry. In his final months, he spent a lot of time with his grandchildren. Private time. No moms and dads allowed. He loved it, and they loved it. And after he passed, I asked each of my children, Sky, Yusuf, Cassius, Atticus, and Matthias, what was their last conversation with their grandfather? I asked, what did he say to you? Each of them, separately and individually, thought for a moment and told me, Dad, Granddad told me he loved me.
Woo!
And those are the last words I remember him ever saying to me as well. Wherever he traveled, he made time for children, at schools, at churches, at hospitals, even in prisons. He believed that inside every child was a somebody waiting to emerge, and that with faith and support and hope, they can achieve excellence. He would say, I know because I was one of them. And today his legacy will not be carried forward by family alone. This type of work does not pass by blood, it passes by spirit. Thus it is in his name that we have committed ourselves that the Rainbow Coalition will continue.
Yes!
We have recommitted ourselves to its founding principles. We stopped to engage new leaders across the country and restructured and revived its operations. And we'll put the good Reverend, my father, to rest today. and will honor him by building upon his work and taking up the challenge. And so while he would be delighted to witness this gathering of friends and allies, and sorry to not be here to conduct it personally, he would be intent that we stay the course and carry on the struggle for justice. I thank you all for being a part, not just of his work over the years, but to the shared commitment of our future together. Keep hope alive.
Come on, let's celebrate our brother, Mr. Yusef Jackson. I want to apologize in advance to Governor Gavin Newsom, California, Governor Westmore, Maryland. Come on, clap your hands and let's celebrate them. So grateful to have you. I want to apologize in advance as I introduce the governor of the greatest state in these United States of America, Governor J.B. Pritzker. You said it.
Let justice roll down like waters, and righteousness like a mighty stream. In a too often unjust world. For Reverend Jesse Jackson, each day was a new opportunity to bring justice in a too often unjust world. His ambition, the North Star of his advocacy, was to shape a world where justice is not an anomaly but a constant, where fairness and equity and dignity are so ubiquitous in our lives, they simply flow amidst us like water. Reverend Jackson was at once a mighty roaring river, able to create movements and galvanize masses with his words and his passion, and a gentle brook, able to provide guidance and comfort to the beleaguered and the bereaved. He could lift up and connect with an audience of millions with the same intimacy and fervor that he could with an audience of one. He inspired us not just in his conviction, but in his joy. Not just in his righteous anger at injustice, but in his boundless love for communion. Not just in his words, but in his deeds. He kept hope alive. Now, I find it somewhat difficult to memorialize a man whose presence always looms so large among us. You could still feel his presence in this room with us here at the House of Hope. You could still feel his presence in so many ways. Every day he would honor us in the way that today we honor him. And you could feel his spirit in the movements for justice that have grown from the seeds that he tilled. Now, to the world, Jesse Jackson was an ambassador of hope for the oppressed, who met with kings and queens and presidents and dictators and clergy of all the great religions. But here in Chicago, he was our neighbor.
Yes.
He was our friend. We were so proud. We are so proud. Yeah. Here, his message of hope was one he offered in a friendly smile to the child playing in front of their home, or the tap on the shoulder for the young man looking for just a little bit of encouragement. He taught us to expand our ambitions and dare to imagine a better world, and to be kind and decent to one another. He brought enormous pride to the people of this city and this state. And on a more personal note, it has been an honor that my relatively short time in public office overlapped with Reverend Jackson's long tenure. And let me assure all of those who are here today that even as his body started to fail him, the Reverend's mind remained sharp. He never failed to pull me aside at an event to ask about something in the news or offer a word of advice or encouragement. He was politically connected. He knew. He shared an affliction common to all those in this room. He loved the political game all the way to the end. And while we know that we shared him with the whole world, Reverend Jackson belonged to Chicago. And Chicago belonged to him. He was ours and we were his. I am somebody. That wasn't just a slogan, it was his credo. It was Jesse's blessing on each of us, on all of us. A pronouncement of pride and accomplishment, pride and determination. It was his reminder of the incredible power that each of us has to lift ourselves up. The gift of dignity in our personhood that God had bestowed upon us. The power that each of us wields that can change the world. I am somebody. To his beloved wife, Jackie. To his loving children, Santita and Jesse Jr., Jonathan, Yusuf, Ashley, Jacqueline, and the entire family. MK and I and our whole family grieve with you in your loss. While Reverend Jackson meant so much to the world, you were the world to him. We will forever be grateful for your sacrifice in sharing him with the rest of us. To honor his legacy, let today be a new beginning, not an ending. Let's follow in his footsteps and be trailblazers and not just pathfinders. Let's bring justice to a too often unjust world until it rolls down like water and righteousness like a mighty stream. May Jesse Jackson's memory be a blessing to us all.
Labor and faith were one and the same, as Dr. King prophesied. It was his instincts to stand up against school closures and the shuttering of mental health clinics. It was his instincts that led protests down Michigan Avenue when a boy's life was taken by a police officer and then government decided to cover it up. It was his instincts. It was his instincts to run in 84 and 88, but not in 92 to make way for somebody in the deep South and a brother on the South Side to become president of the United States. It was his instincts. See, I had the privilege to accompany Reverend to Selma one year, and while we were there, he recounted the days and weeks that were spent organizing to get folks to walk with him across the Edmund Pettus Bridge. And he said, now that history has proven us to be right, he said that everybody and their mama was on that bridge. But he knew the struggle from going town to town, and He was calling people out of isolation and into community, understanding that the bridge is a symbol that burdens all of us. It's what connected us. It's what was waiting for us on the other side. He had a feel. His instincts understood that that bridge was a representation of the cross. See, it was the bull counters of the world and state-sanctioned violence that they unleashed on our people. It was a cross brought to bear by the most egregious alignment that can materialize in a fight against inequality. Reverend Jackson's instincts understood the words of James Baldwin, who said that ignorance and power allied is the most ferocious enemy of justice. But his instincts understood that if there's a cross to bear, we need a symbol of a promise. And that's when he formed the Rainbow Coalition that said that whosoever will, let them come. It would be necessary for the movement to build the future that he saw where America could finally live up to her ideals. And when I think of Selma and that storied march across the Edmund Pettus Bridge, I know that Reverend Jackson knew exactly how much wickedness and hatred waited for them on that bridge. Beaten, abused, intimidated, they marched anyway. They bore the cross because they understood that on the other side of the bridge, his instinct said there's a win. See, in America, we find ourselves at a bridge, and we are confronted in this moment. And that bridge is now described as borders, where borders get to determine how human dignity is determined by which side of the border you live on. He understood the bridge. And so now we are in the midst of a choice to choose hope over despair, light over darkness, love over hate, because he knew there was too much to gain on the other side of the bridge. Bishop shared, I think I feel my help coming. Because on the other side of the bridge, Rodney, housing as a human right. On the other side of the bridge, health care for all. On the other side of the bridge, safe and affordable cities, accessible transportation, finally fully funded our public education system. It is time to cross the bridge, you all, to build an economy that works for all. Black, brown, white, Asian, young, old. It is time for the ultra-rich to pay their fair share in taxes on the other side of the bridge. Reverend, you crossed your bridge. We know our assignment. We see you on the other side. God bless you.
Thank you so much. Before we get ready to bring the next set of speakers, and we look forward to what you will share, straight ahead is a clock. It's a clock. We would love for you to help us as we press towards our goal. Hasn't this been fantastic thus far? Can we thank all of our speakers and participants? Can we please welcome one of Reverend Jackson's favorites, Ms. Opal Staples.
The incomparable, fantastic, fabulous, magnificent mother of the movement, Dr. Jacqueline Jackson. Get on your feet and recognize her, ladies and gentlemen.